One time for your mind, two time for your drinks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is George Chuck Patterson. We appreciate you for tapping in, checking in, tuning in with us tonight. I am broadcasting live from Clearwater, Florida. Solomon God says that craziest people in the world come from the Bronx and all of Florida. I've met some really nice people here that are from Florida and transplant from Florida. But I've also experienced or had the opportunity to experience a number of people acting crazy at the red light. Ladies and gentlemen, you did not lie. Shout out to everybody that's from Florida. Shout out to my roommate from college, Don Darbo. Love you, brother. But there's some crazy ass people in Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Aim big, goals for 2025. DJ George, Mr. Mac in the building. Tap somebody right now. Tune in at them right now. Let us know your goals for 2025, and we will help you stay consistent and give you a roadmap on how to get there. They're your goals. Might need a little help. That's where we come in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Nightcap Knowledge. Let's go. One time for your mind, man. Time for your drink. Mr. Mac over there on that Mary G. Montgomery band. He marching sideways. He is not marching like the Boom. He is not marching like the Alabama State marching Hornet. He is not marching like the Sounds of Dynamite. He is marching like the Ohio State.
Man, what's the deal, Pickle?
Hey man, look, it's all kosher, man. It's all kosher. I can't complain at all, man. I got me a late night cup of coffee. It's not gonna do anything but help me do what I'm doing right now.
Did you say late night cup of coffee?
Yeah, I mean it's 10 o'clock where I am.
Yeah.
And I've been with people all day, and typically I'm only with a certain number of people. So I've had to be present and accounted for all day during the day. And typically I'm only having to be present and accounted for and jovial and personable with limited portions of my day every day. So gotta get a little pick me up.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I can appreciate you appreciating that.
Listen, coffee.
It's gonna do a couple of things. It's gonna do a couple of things for
Oh yeah. It's gonna definitely get you going and get you going.
I appreciate that. So with that being said, Mr. Mac, I would love for you to be able to give the folks the disclosure, allowing them to understand and know where they came to if this is their first time coming to us.
Yes.
Nightcap knowledge. Go ahead.
So this show is rated black and uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. We're gonna tell it like a TI is. Might hear some stuff that you don't like. Guess what? Might not be a show for you. Start your year off right. Hey, this will make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do, and make it does what it does. So we'd like to thank all of our nightcappers that are here with us and have been consistent with us. Once again, we thank you for tuning in each and every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, as I am broadcasting live. I hope that the internet is okay. From all the way down here in Clearwater, Florida. Clearwater, Florida.
Water flower. Now, what's that near? What is Clearwater near?
Tampa Bay, Tampa. Okay. Yeah.
You're not far from Sydney, then. I think Sydney is down there. George Brother Sydney.
Oh, Sydney Ross. I'm like Sydney.
Yeah. No, sir.
I'm like, man, you been holding on City Port A? Like,
he's gone on.
Yeah, God rest his soul. I thought you was like, like his grave is somewhere nearby. Yeah.
Hey, you never know, man. Different fun facts you can learn about different things.
Now, so what's Gabrielle Union's name in Bad Boys? See it. It just came to Florida.
It is. Yeah, Florida. Yeah.
Florida.
Was that the Haitian or the Jamaican one?
Definitely both.
Yeah.
I think the brothers was both
is not Haitian welcome here. Why you had to go and tell me you were the devil? Why you had to say that?
Hey, buddy, that's good programming right there. That's good television.
Have you seen the last one?
I have.
Yeah. I like how my boy Reggie kind of evolved, right? Reggie showed up and showed out.
Hey, Marcus was proud of Reggie at the end.
He said, "Man, you can't cook on our grill." He killed like 15 people. Well, what you about to go do? I'm about to go set the table. What you about to do?
Hey, man, look, I'm about to go have a nice, organized dinner. That's what I'm about to do. That's what the man said.
I'm gonna leave this guy alone. We're gonna leave him alone. Let him cook on the grill. Hey.
Yep.
But it was good to see that brother evolve and and when you see people grow up on TV or evolve, like wow, like this person looks like this, especially when you don't see them in a while and they come back, like a reintroduction, and they grow bigger in film and TV. And you're like, wow, because you think about some of the folks we've seen as teen stars. I mean,
Right.
or child stars, and then you were like, that's such and such. Mike Macaulay Culkin was on the first episode of Raw on Netflix, and we were like,
Like the wrestling show Raw.
yeah, he
Raw.
was in the audience. He was in the audience. And I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
Macaulay Culkin. And you think about Macaulay Culkin, you not think about this white man with this scraggly beard. You thinking about Home Alone running around. Right. Iconic
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Shallon and the boys love Home Alone, like especially Jackson.
I think Jackson
Especially
told me it's
Jackson.
like 6 of them. It's like 5 or 6 of them now. I said, how? So did somebody else like recast?
The first three are OG Macaulay Culkin Home Alone.
Yeah.
And then the subsequent three are the latter three are another kid. So I mean, four, it went bad.
Mhm.
Continuous storyline in terms of burglars or something like that breaking into
Mhm.
people's home during the holiday. And it is what it is. But look, definitely, Mac, thank you for that disclaimer. Letting people know, where they are, why they're here, and our mission going forward, and our mission for the last 216 episodes. So, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
I ain't got no
I
booger,
decided,
dude.
decided to change it up a little bit today.
What you got there? What that is? Oh, Eagle Rare. Hold on. Let me highlight this brother. Let me highlight. He got expensive whiskey.
You get,
Expensive. I see that.
I'm just going to drink a little bit, little taste, little taste.
Okay. So with Mac is drinking good whiskey. I am drinking decent coffee
Coffee.
from Perkins. Shout out to Perkins restaurant. Perkins is a good restaurant, man. You can get you a vegetable plate. You can
Perkins,
get
that's
you a
still
steak.
around.
Yeah, in South Florida. Excuse me, Central Florida. In
Okay.
Central Florida, Perkins is definitely still around. Memphis, Collierville, Tennessee,
Uh-huh.
Perkins is still around. So yes, they're shout out to Perkins, man. I like Perkins. I had a great burger from Perkins. I think their blueberry pancakes could use some work. If I could give them any recommendation, I would tell them that they need to study the blueberry pancakes from Blue Dog Bistro in Gulfport, Mississippi. So shout out to Blue Dog. Blue Dog has, Max Blue. I'm a dog, Blue to the bros. No paid advertisement or anything like that. Blue Dog has an awesome breakfast and brunch. So
Yeah.
if you're ever in Gulfport, Mississippi, I encourage you to stop by Blue Dog Bistro. They also have a location in Ocean Springs, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they have ambitions to move to other areas of the coast. And shout out to the homie Patrick Duval.
Ah,
Back in the building. I think this is Patrick. He's one of our DJ buddies, DJ homies. So shout out to all the DJs that are out there. And then I got to give this brother a shout out, young Josh, DJ J Rock. Yeah, man. One of our Tougalooans, What's Up Wednesday veteran. And he's got his goals in the comments. And we're going to get to some of these goals, man. We've been talking about aiming big, our goals for 2025. This is a part 2. Last week we talked about Mac's goals for his business as well as me. We also talked about some of the goals that we have for Mississippi Move, and then we gave some points and some tips on how to set those goals, how to track those goals, how to stay consistent, and all of those things, man. So we want to continue along those lines. I got some good feedback from a couple of people that I was able to do some check-ins with. in between all of the things that we're juggling. And I want to say, a public thank you to our friend and our fellow Tougaloo and our brother Jimmy Kennedy for the conversation that uh, I would say, the conversation that he led when I last talked to him. He encouraged us to one give some visuals, um, and then also some steps. One of the things that he thinks that a lot of he shared with me, a lot of people they set their goals. And one of the things that Mac and I talked about was, breaking them down, like, setting that to-do list and, bit by bit. Mac says he eats that elephant one bite at a time. And then we went on further to say, have that accountability partner and then, set those milestone check-ins like, 3 months from now. Um, what have we done to in terms of our checklist to get towards that larger goal? And then, you know, rolling with that consistency. Like, how do you stay consistent every day to get towards that overall goal? So I want to thank Jimmy for his recommendation on us creating that visual. And along with creating that visual, meaning that we got some steps that we're going to release from Nightcap Knowledge's Facebook page, and then we'll reshare that from Black Window Chaser. But also pushing us to elevate the production of Nightcap Knowledge. And that is something that we have had conversations around, right, Rant?
Yeah, yeah, that's something. And we talk about evolution. Something we picked up on ourselves as we continue to grow beyond where we were, and we're just adding because our schedules are so crazy. So, um, we got to get to that point where we are very comfortable with it, and for us, it's looking like a podcast. Some things that Chuck and I want to do different. Um, so I guess we talked about breaking this thing down. So I guess you put your life coach hat on, and you think about some of the simpler ways of setting goals. Like for me, I know Chuck, we have to do lists, like a literally a to do list, and you might break that thing down. Um, as we talk about goal settings, we talk about immediate, we talk about immediate, short term, long term, legacy. So immediate is say for instance your goal is to purchase a large piece of property. So your immediate goal might be starting to research the areas where you want to be, start to seek it out. That's something you can go ahead and do. So then once you find out the property and look at it, your short term goal will be to start working towards your credit, set goals to meet with this person, attend workshops or whatever. The long term goal will be, of course, to purchase the property. But the legacy plan is to develop the property where it could be in the family, um, making money for you, but also something that you could pass down to your children. So your focus is that property, but it started with your short term goal to say, you know what, I want to purchase some property in Mobile. Let me go online, start looking, and say for instance, you might look on Zillow or the real estate sites. Then you might go to the Secretary of State. So you're searching for property, find the property, then you start figuring out what do I have to do to obtain this property, or from their standpoint, then look at your personal finances. So when we start talking about finances, it's another game: setting goals, budgeting, the money that you already have, and the bills that you already have. Then you're looking at the things that you want to obtain, how much money you need to obtain that. What are some avenues to that you can take to obtain that money, and then overall, the thing that you want to purchase or want to buy, will that help create more money for you, uh, or make something easier? So even with everything that you do, you're setting manageable goals. Now, here's the reality about it. Depending on how busy your life is, you will take this, and you might not ever. The day I start out, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this today, and you might get to one, and the whole day go to hell in a handbasket. and you had to start back over. That's something I had. I was like trying to put it to say I'm gonna do this on Monday, and I stopped writing dates. I just started writing to do list, and when the next week get there, I would circle the things that I did not complete, check off the things that I did, add that to the to do list, and make it for next week. Um, Chuck and I always talked about this. Something that we've learned was setting realistic goals, trying not to do a lot of heavy lifting, meaning that um, based on what we have the capacity to do, then we know that we can do ourselves. um, the other thing is not being afraid to push back our own set timelines to make sure that we
Well,
can.
let me give. Hold up. Oh, my bad. I ain't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah, because we be like, why we set this timeline, we set this event. If we got to cancel it, then we got to cancel it because we rather push it and make it be everything that we think it should be versus just say, you know what, we ain't got but a day. Let's go and throw something together and make it happen. Like no, if we wait 3 weeks, it could be at the the magnitude of where we wanted it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Now we still a fan of flip charts and dry erase boards. Now we'll just let everybody know that. Right?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Now look, I'm
Because
gonna challenge you to do this. I'm gonna challenge you to do this, Mac. I want you to take a picture and you can redact whatever you want to redact. But you have the license to post from the Nightcap Knowledge page, right? All right. I want you to post your to-do list, whatever portion of it you feel comfortable sharing. I want you to post it. I have a digital version. I've now what Sabir is referring to the dry erase desktop thinking. Sabir and I have the same thing, right? I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a dry erase desktop thingy, and I like it. Like I put the kind of big overarching conglomerate type goals on that, and then I have, for instance, I can appreciate where I am right now and what I'm doing because I have a goal, and it's a long term goal of, and I think Mac might be in that same type of vein. I think Mac wants to get into that agro-tourism. I'm looking at the wedding side of the event business. So Mac's on agro-tourism. I'm looking at the wedding side of it, meaning that I want to have, people in a venue. I want to have them there for a day, maybe two, and get them in and out, and then do it again the next weekend. Meaning that there are a certain number of things. You got to have a Mac in terms of a bartending service and his company. Then you got to have a Silas with DJs. Then you got to have a caterer, and Sister Tracy or Marcus Banks with B&B Barbecue. All of these different people. There's an ecosystem that goes along with it. But we're looking at like setting up these places and these opportunities for the people around us to feed this machine that we've been able to set up, right? So they're big goals, but we've broken them down into not only the people that help us get there, but also the steps that we need to take to make sure that this big agro-tourism thing where Mac brings you to this 100-acre property, and he breaks down a number of things that feed into the overall economic engine of Mississippi or Hinds County or the local municipality in which that place is. So you got to break it down, and you went into some of it in terms of how do you acquire the property, what are the steps that you take to get there. The thing is some people don't even believe that they can get there.
So
So you got to be able to at the very least be like, I can I can do this. I can get there.
that's another thing though. Whatever your goal is, especially, and one of our affirmations that we have is, create what don't exist, right? But you
Hmm.
might be able to pull reference from someone else that's doing something similar to what you want to do, right? So you can look at that person's achievement, their backstory, googling it, just finding out. That makes a world of a difference. So you not, so you happen to get to your goal. Because if nobody around you understands your goal, or you don't see anything that looks similar to what you are attempting to do, sometimes it can be very discouraging. So you got to go find it. You have to find out who's doing it. It might not be nobody in your area, but someone is doing it or something similar to what you're doing. Um, and then if it's possible, maybe seek some advice from them, right? Your goal might be to find at least three people that's doing something similar to what you're doing. And you may be able to pull a little bit of something from each one of those things. Um, but it's we start talking about goals. Also, it's the steps. You can have an idea, but what do I need to make this become a reality? Right. So you start in a certain business, you got to start looking at what type of credentials do I need or certification. Do I need to get this approval from the municipalities or whoever? Do I need to get a certain level of liability insurance? Do I need to get these things right? So you start setting these goals and say, hey, I want to obtain this. I want to do this research. I want to check these things out. Um, because people are doing certain things, but then you got to know the ins and out of it, right? Um, so we always encourage folks to get a planner, get a journal or slash notebook. When you have these ideas, date it, write it out. Date it, write it out. Right? And it might just be a thought. Might be, hey, you know what? I want to create one of these. Right? Where you date it, write it out. So then you
Yeah.
come back to it and start to say, okay, is this doable? Right?
Yeah.
Is this just was a dream, or can I make this become a reality? So I always point this out. I can't remember what year it was, but there was a movie came out called The Rocketeer, and with this guy, he had made a helmet, he had a leather jacket, and he had a like a jet pack, like a rocket, right? So in 2024 and 2025, they have devices that you strap on your back and put on your arm, and man can fly. We know about the drones, and then they got things now that's like a large drone that a person can actually get on. We talk about man flying. So the goal was so they created it inside of cinema, gave you the idea, and some people look at it like that would be neat if somebody actually do that. How can we make that become a reality? Like, and they did. So it's a lot of things that we set as goals that other folks might not be doing or might not even see that's needed. Um, but it's your job to continue to push forward and try to find people that are doing certain similar things that you're doing. And a lot of times, here's the crazy thing about funding. People might not understand it, but budgeting and funding, having your credit where it needs to be, will help you with a lot of your goals. Because you could say I'm the best DJ ever, but your equipment sucks. So in order to get where you need to be, you got to purchase some equipment. You got to have certain things that go along with the ideology and the plan to make the goal become a reality. So
Yeah, man. Look, you said the planner, the journal, the notebook. Um the other thing that I know that we talked about last week, and we got into it a little bit. The things that you described are accountability partners. Some of the journal and the notebook is like, all right, what's the thing that I can look back at, even if it's something that's printed out that you can put into a portfolio. What are the things that we can print out that we can look back to or reflect upon and say, hmm, what were we thinking in January? Now we in June. we've checked off a lot of things, but what was the initial goal? Has that goal changed? Right. So it's you being able to hold yourself accountable, but then you can say, well, this is something that Mac and I did along with Sabir. We set a strategic plan, and that plan had goals for Mississippi Move to fundraise a particular amount. Um, I, if I remember correctly, I think we might have even said that we want to, create a certain level of impact in the community, and I don't think we said anything about being recognized, but being recognized for the work that we've been able to do could be translated into creating a certain level of impact, meaning that we were able to be consistent enough with the type of work that we do to a certain extent that work was able to that work made it to an ear or an eye where somebody said that let's recognize these guys for the things that they've been able to do consistently since 2004. So being able to have that plan where you type it down, you write it down, and then you share it with somebody, and then you're able to look at it, they're able to look at it, and then you have these scheduled check-ins. Mac is one of the most regimented people that I know. He get on my nerves with it. I'm fine with that. It's cool. But you need people like that in your committee so that you can have those check-ins. They're gonna go down that checklist. They're gonna go through the things that you said you was gonna do alongside of them. You need those you need those people in your organization. You need those people in your friend circle, in your group, in your accountability group, so that they can hold you accountable. So go ahead, Matt.
No, I was saying like the goal, like the reality of it. I have to call Sabir and Chuck and be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. Is this doable?
And then we say what?
Then we had to go through it and say we might not be able to do this, but we can
In this time frame.
do that. We could do this, move it. If we do this, if we move, and that. So he's like, okay, all right. So where maybe I change it up like this and change it. So then you have a finished product, and we can still, make it to the original goal. But that going back to the goal setting, ideas, planning, and then support system and accountability of getting to where you want to be. And then you continue to move the goalpost. You continue to move it, surpass it. The other thing will be Sabir's favorite surveys, evaluation. Matter of fact, I think we owed Sabir some surveys and evaluations from last year. Chuck and I do. We got to finish. So, but that's how you know if whatever you did was impactful or effective, and it helps you know what you could have done better, or vice versa. Some of the things that you guys did really well and exceeded in. So all that's a part of goal setting, because each time you do something, your goal should be to improve upon it and do better.
Better every time.
Yep.
Better every time. And that evaluation thing is your accountability thing. Like when you do something, it was your goal to do that. The people that you thought were the audience for it, you want to make sure that not only are you accountable to the people that help you do the thing, you want to also make sure that you're accountable to the people, the audience that you were able to assemble. And I know one of the things that I can be most proud about for us is we come up with these ideas, we do these things, and we've been able to be consistent with these things. Like you've got Breaking Bread, you've got The Sleep Out, you've got Mississippi Greek Weekend evolved into Mississippi's Greatest Weekend. Now you even have Tougaloo Alumni Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things have had a consistency. They were not perfect by no means, especially in their initial stages. That are the initial iteration. They were not perfect, but they were consistent. That's not to
Well,
say that they weren't good. That's not to say that they weren't even, they weren't effective. They were effective.
yeah, yeah. I think one thing we saw. I would say this to folks: like sometimes simplicity is uh, a whole compliment in itself. So like the first couple things might have been really good. It was when you try to get larger, and that's when the pieces of the puzzle you got to have more movement. There's more moving pieces. If we say, hey, we want to meet at the such and such with the music and the grill, if if it's two or three of us show up, we have accomplished our goal. When you start adding larger pieces and more moving parts, it takes more to get to that goal. Um,
Yeah,
and so sometimes, so for us, some of the stuff we did starting out the first year or two was good. It was very simple, and then you added more, and it started to get more complex. So then you got to go back to what's efficient and what's work. So and we talk about in financial literacy, like a lot of folks are going from the opposite of purchasing large houses to purchasing more smaller, manageable houses and seeing more money. They are downsizing for because they have different goals, right? Um, because it's a lot to keep up. The more house you have, the more you got to take care of, the more you got to keep up. More repairs, whatever the case may be. So they have made it simpler. It's gotten smaller. Um,
yeah,
but the events, also the overall goal with the events was in community engagement and people. It's getting people
absolutely,
involved. So so we talk about that. Like, what did you gather from it? The networking, the communication. Did we register one person to vote? We registered one person to vote. Like, hey, that's an accomplishment.
absolutely worth it.
You know, because as
Yeah,
I tell people when it comes to voter registration, if you're in an area where a lot of people are not registered to vote, then we have a bigger problem. We have a whole we have
there's a
a big
larger
problem.
problem, but it points to the consistency thing. Like we don't have to register everybody in that community to vote the first day that we go there, but
Hmm.
if we show up consistently, we know that we can get a larger majority of people to register to vote
Hmm.
because we've been there consistently. We've built a relationship with the stakeholders or the power brokers in that community. So yeah, that's a big point right there. But it's all consistency.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of those things. So anybody, I was going to say, let's check and see did anybody else have a goal that they would set for themselves for 2025. I guess that's
No,
the question
I
we
I
asked.
do want to go back to Josh. He shared his earlier.
Hmm.
Joshua's Yeshua Coleman, Joshua Coleman. He says, my goal is to expand my sound business and buy more gear. Yes, sir. You all can help by sending people my way and help find this money, but also looking in to go into some other markets and create an additional business. Would absolutely love to have some of those conversations about creating additional business, but um like the Joshua's sound business, Kingdom AV Sound and Lighting, I think is the whole name of it. Josh has been one of those consistent people that have invested in his time and energy into making Alumni Weekend a true success, allowing us to be consistent because of his investment. So, a lot of the events that we've been able to do, uh, there are key players, and those key players are um, the key pieces that allow for us to be able to produce an event where people are like, "Man, I can't wait for next year," or why
Hmm.
don't we do this in 6 months, or like do another one. We need this twice a year, and I believe. you know, that's a testament to, the people that are involved in some of these events that we are associated with. And then it's something that gives you that energy to just keep going, right? Um, so it allows you to, this goes into our next point. It allows you to overcome some of those obstacles that you might be faced with because of that feedback that you got. You got that. You've been consistent. There are people that are there with you. It wasn't perfect. It was consistent, but the problems that you're faced with, you're able to overcome those because it positively impacted somebody. Mac just talked about, um, if we registered one person at an event, it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
1,000% worth it because that one person is now on a journey to understand the power of casting a vote or the power of holding an elected official accountable. There are people that do not have those opportunities. Even if you're inside of an organization, and there's a democratic process in place, you have a responsibility to hold the president of that organization accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. From the newest person on staff to the person with the longest tenure, you have a responsibility to hold these people that are charged with governing or leading the organization. You got board of trustee members, then you got executive cabinet members. All of these things are necessary for the operations of a business or an institution. But there's also a thing where you need people that are conscious of what the mission and vision is, and they're not concerned with the overall profitability. Typically, people that are concerned with mission and vision, they're concerned about impact. And if your
Right.
mission ain't about making money and it's about impact, then you're gonna have some people that are what they're gonna be your accountability partners. They're gonna want that consistency over perfection. And with those, those first three things in place, breaking down those big goals, being accountable, holding yourself accountable, having people hold you accountable, you can get to that number four, overcoming obstacle. Um, but Mac, I know I want the next point I want you to talk about in depth. Because this is some of your wheelhouse. Mindset shift.
Yeah, man. What's the beer say? Running late
He running late. Where you running late to?
on the newsletter. Newsletter.
Oh,
End of the year
hey
newsletter.
man, that's cool. Just get it
Hey,
out. We
hey,
got to go.
push the goal back. Push the goal back.
Hey,
Move the goalpost. Move the goalpost. Um, so mindset shift, man. It's just like a lot of times. So to dive into this, we look at things the black community and why we don't have certain things, and why we don't have a certain level of certain things, and because of the mindset, everybody has to see and understand how we work and gel together and collective. So I always point. I just talked about this earlier today. I said it was documented in the cultural competency book several years ago that they talked about the society was moving more towards individualistic mentality versus collective. So I mean
mhm.
that Chuck was like, man, then in college and talked about the cues. Ain't nobody else out here. I guess I gotta go out here and set one out and represent the cues, right? That's what Chuck will get out there and do. Because it's not about Chuck. Chuck is doing it for a larger, you know, larger entity. So he's like, man, I know my knee gonna hurt after this, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and get out here and represent. Well, you're doing that sacrifice because it's what's needed for the overall good. Um, so when you start thinking about that, start thinking about the mindset shift of if we're doing these things to make sure that our community and our people are good, that also makes sure that we are good. We don't have certain things because of the mindset. We don't attend certain things to learn because of our mindset. So we actually stand in the way of our own goals because of the mindset. Um, but it goes back to what when we don't have the goals that we could accomplish because of mindset. So we stand in our own way a lot of times with things that we need to see in our community because of the mindset. We talk more about it. We allow other folks to invade our process of thinking to say, well, five of us can't get it done, maybe 10. Instead of like, man, we ain't ready to get this thing done. We ain't got no people. Man, let's just give up. When you change your mindset, opportunities and allies you did not know will show up because now you're focused on that goal. You're focused on getting to that next mission or whatever it may be. So it goes back to your mindset. When you start looking outside the box or don't have a box at all, then you
Yeah.
start to think about different things. You worry less about what folks say, um, and more about folks, about being on the same wavelength as other folks that are have met that goal or trying to get to that goal, or even in the same position you are, where they're interested in that goal. Um, your mindset makes a world of difference of how you. It's pretty much how you look at things. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that to have that mindset shift, that you have to talk to yourself a different way.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes by talking to yourself a different way, like when you're working on learning something new, or you're working on shifting a particular way of thinking, you have to, you got to listen, you got to look, and you have to say things differently. Um, the one of the things that I remember in my early years at Tougaloo, as a staff member, um, we always have heard, you are what you eat, but you are what you read, you are what you listen to, like you are what you consume. So if you continuously, and this is one of those things where the conversation around hip hop comes up. If the only hip hop that you are consuming is talking about uh negative things like killing,
Hmm.
shooting, I think the era of hip hop that we came up in, excuse me, we listened to people that were evolving from selling dope to planning the next party, and they were thinking about the the way that they wanted, a young lady to move their hind parts closer towards their groin area.
Hmm.
Uh, we listened to a number of varied conversations of hip hop over, over these immaculately constructed beats. So there's a balance in things, but we also went, we went up, we got to church,
Hmm.
at a particular time, or we found ourselves in at the program with the gospel choir, in the gospel choir. We were able to allow ourselves um to be surrounded by positive messaging, and that's what I'm saying in terms of you are what you eat. Like you have to surround yourself with things that will cause you to um formulate your own set of beliefs, but then also challenge those beliefs, and put yourself in a situation to where once who you are and whose you are, then you can continue to feed yourself like this. Mac is a trusted person, or John C. Maxwell is a trusted person. Like who are the authors that you need to read to reinforce your mindset shift? Who are the folks that you need to be around to reinforce this mindset shift? So if you're not doing that, you honestly, you setting yourself up to never accomplish them goals that you wrote down at the beginning of the year. You know, you talking about new year, new me, but you really putting yourself in a situation where it's gonna be the same old thing.
I think a lot of times mindset the thing is fear. Fear prevents you from even daring to set the goals, and also kind of cripples you from executing and achieving a goal, because also self doubt, things come like that come with the fear, and it's things you see and hear a lot. Unless you got the support system that's going to give you, re-energize you, uh, um, and give you the support, give you the things you need to accomplish those goals. So you got to evaluate. Now, just because you don't have them in your circle, don't mean you can't find these people and create a new circle. They are out there. We're doing the best we can with connecting the dots, especially for those who want to do business and things of that nature. We have things that are coming down the pipeline where you'll be able to participate. But it's just about what you want to do, how you want to get it done. You know, uh, a lot of those things when it comes to goals, it goes back to the purpose in which you set the goal in the first place. Like, but also the challenge is if you did this much this month, then move the goalpost a little bit and try to do enough, that much next month. And just moving things forward and getting yourself motivated, and finding it, like we say about those different books. You can find everything. It's some stuff that you would never thought. Let's go back to the mindset by watching this on TV or reading this, it would definitely have any type of positive impact. So I learned one thing about economics by watching Cars, and I pointed this out a couple of times. Radiator Springs was a thriving small town community. Everybody owned their own property inside of the town, and the big folks, the big government came to them and was like, "Hey, if you allow us to open up this highway, we can, and man, we'll bring thousands of cars down through here." They're like, "Well, okay, that'd be great for business." So everybody pulled in, and they sat there and waited, and they looked around. Then the balloon flew away. Then another balloon flew away. Then the balloon burst, and then it's just like, what happened to all the people? The people never came. And what I learned was the interstate kept folks from having to drive through the small towns. So the small towns dried up from the revenue. The interstate was proposed to the people was, hey, you can go in this area and you can get there in a quicker time. 4 lane highway, you don't have to stop. Sound familiar? Happened right here in Jackson. And so, but when you have a mindset of looking at like, wow, they were doing somewhat of a gentrification on cars, because exact same thing happened to Jackson State when they opened up the highways, made these larger highways for travel. People stopped going by Jackson State. So when people start going driving through there on their way home or to work, people quit stopping there, and the property started to take a different turn. So that's a real life economic um, example of, but it takes you to take your mindset and say, you know what, I'm looking at this from a different angle.
Yeah.
My mindset is different, and I'm looking like I can see exactly how this happens in real life. And I just gave you the perfect example. Like, this is what they tell folks in small towns. Hey, we're gonna make it better for you. We're gonna help. And all these people don't come because they don't have to come to your town no more. They go around your town.
Right.
And but it's the mindset. So when you have a different mindset, you're gonna find the information that you need. Uh, Death by interstate is what they call. Yep, right. So you stop going through. Also, the money to make repairs and upgrades in those smaller areas stopped or slowed down because it was less people, and because there was less people, the economic impact was different. So you didn't have that money thriving where they put it right back and try to make it bigger and better because they got hundreds of people coming down this road or 1,000 people coming down this road every day. Um, so it's but the mindset of saying I'm going to be able to look at whatever it is and pull something out of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to watch whatever it is and pull something out of it that works for me and positive. I'm gonna learn something for whatever it is, listen to or whatever. I'm gonna learn something. I'm gonna pull something out of it, and I'm gonna utilize it for my, for my advantage
Yeah.
for whatever work I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's just like if Chuck made a kids bop playlist,
Not the first
okay,
time.
it's a plenty of people will buy it and play it because it's something different, but they need it.
You absolutely need kids bot when you're trying to make sure that your kids don't hear motherfucker shit. Goddamn.
They need it. That's that's the only stuff they hear from Pawpaw and uncles. They don't, it's a big difference. but but those type of things are thinking of outside the box. Like why we talked about, I'm telling Master P is one of those guys that do so much. It's like when he got ready to get his brother out of prison that first time, it was that man, Master P was serious about getting his brother out of prison. That joker took out all them goals and went to Nickelodeon. He went to where the money was. He went outside the box. Mindset shift. They were like, what? He went to where the money was. He had a goal in mind. He knew what he was doing. He knew the next move, and he made the next move to make his other next 7 moves. What do you say? Get a few kids.
Patrick
Right.
say he got a few kids Bob Crate. Like, hey, I ain't mad at it at all.
But if you
Family
plan
friendly.
weddings and things of that nature, you evolve and change your goals so that you can be, hey, I want to make sure my stuff is more family friendly, or I can be booked more because I can specialize in this type of playlist. And the people looking, man, he kept the children, you kept the children quiet, or you kept them entertained the whole night. Either way, the adults don't care because they weren't worrying shit out of them, so they were fine. He's like, you know what? I want to create more stuff like this to entertain the children. Think
Yeah.
about how much money you spend with Chuck. If Chuck just if like man, I ain't gonna buy this high ass shit. I'm gonna go get me a pack of such and such and such and such. I'm good. Now
Yeah.
think about how much money you spend with Jack and McCray beside you, and you're like, all right, let me go buy this. Now you buying in two. You spending more. So people spend more money for family oriented stuff that's also catered to the whole family. Like, yeah, you go over there and play in the whatever. I'm going over to the bar. You know, you like,
Look, the whole idea behind places like Disney is about experience, meaning that the family can do things together, uh, whether it's spread out across a
mm-hmm,
particular path or it's all concentrated in one space. So Dave and Buster's, you have kid friendly games, you have the opportunity for the family to sit down together and eat, and then you have the opportunity for parents, if they so choose, they can have a beverage of the adult sort. But Mac, what you keep the thing that keeps popping up in my mind is our closing song is like you're doing things that allow you to get to where the money reside. Like all of the things that you're putting in place. The goals that you set, right? Um, once you broke down the goals, then you find the people that's gonna help you be accountable to these goals, or you find the steps that allow you to say this week this is what I'm gonna do.
mm-hmm,
Um, and you're consistently working towards these things. You're revisiting, you're regrouping, you're adjusting the things that you need to adjust so that you can overcome these obstacles that may arise as a result of some of these imperfections, these issues, right? Um, we're getting to the shift in mindset where we start to think and approach the the things that we encounter from a different level, or based on data that we have as
Mhm.
a result of the event that we did. We know that we need to carry more brown liquor or more white liquor versus the last time, because if we know that there's going to be a particular audience that resembles the audience from
Mhm.
um like we're making data driven decisions because we've shifted the way that we think about things. We're not planning the event
Yep.
based on our feeling. We've shifted our mind to say we know that these types of communities need this particular thing or want this particular thing, and we're going to cater to that. And one of the things that we hinted to earlier, Mac, is when we set out to create the impact, or be impact focused, and be consistent in the areas that were seeing the most growth, and some of the things that we were doing weren't necessarily our OG
Mhm.
tactics or events. Once we got into that, man, we were able to celebrate the progress. Like, for real, even though we took we only checked one thing off the list this week,
Right.
I'm still about to celebrate that.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be a lot that, something that maybe seem simple or whatever it may be. It takes a lot of moving parts to get things where it need to be. Um, and it might take more research or more whatever it may be. Um, but when you make that move and hey, I did one thing, okay, but I learned a whole lot of others. I executed one, but I learned
Right.
10
Right.
from the other things that I had problem with. Makes
I
a
did
world of
one,
difference.
but I
Yeah,
learned so much more.
yeah. Yeah, makes a world of a difference when you're setting your goals and then creating accountability and checking yourself when it comes to your goals. So hopefully everybody out there setting goals. Hopefully you share this video with everybody. Um, and we know that and I did say this earlier, you can have some of the best ideas in the world, but without a plan and without some funds, you ain't going too far. You gotta
I hope
have
y'all can hear that
resources
horn.
because you gotta get to
You gotta get to where the money reside, baby.
where the money resides.
Look, we're gonna publish these tips and these things that we discussed tonight. I think we're gonna publish them via Black Innovation blog. Let us help ourselves to getting to where the money resides in 2025. Thrive in 25, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Aim big. Goals for 2025. Nightcap Knowledge number 217. That is Mr. Mac. I am George Chuck. We'll see y'all next week, each and every Tuesday, right here on Black No Chaser. This is Nightcap Knowledge. Peace.